Okay, good afternoon. This is part 2 of our lessons. We are now at question 7 in this mock exam discussion. So, Mandy carried out an experiment in a dark room. This is a dark room. She shone a light source at plant P for 30 minutes. So again, I want you to annotate this part. You use your highlighter, highlight 30 minutes at plant P. Okay, plant P is here. Okay. And then you can draw a beam of light from here. Actually, this light when radiate out, right? Some of it will be shining here and some will shine here. Okay. The light ray. Yeah, because you got in this angle, something like that. From the lens. So she measured the height h. Height h is the amount of gas collected, which is here. So you also annotate this part, the height h, which is the portion above the test tube. She repeated the experiment by changing the distance of light. So she adjusted this distance. Okay, so this is the variable. So this is the variable, the distance. So it's quite logical, right? The nearer the distance to the plant, right? The greater the light intensity the plant can receive. So you will observe that at the shortest distance, 10 centimeters, the volume of, or the height h is the greatest. So this height h, I want you to annotate here, you put oxygen. Because in the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is being given out. So here, based on the result, state the relationship. So this question is giveaway one. You need to state the relationship between the distance of light from plant P and the height h. So this is direct, like direct extraction of data from this part. You put inside there, plug in the answer and arrange them in the order. Okay, so we just mentioned, as the distance of light from plant P decreases, the pattern here decreases, the height of gas collected in the test tube increases. So very simple, 1 mark. Explain the answer in part A. Okay, this one is slightly more difficult because you need to explain. So as I mentioned to you, the keyword the examiner want to see is this word, photosynthesis. And you must say there's an increase in the rate in photosynthesis. So explanation, as distance decreases, intensity of light increases, resulting in increased rate of photosynthesis. So this is the section where you need to, yeah. So in Chi, you can screenshot this part and send to them. Okay. Yeah, send to them. Okay, give you some time to digest. Okay, so send already at this part. Okay, let me proceed to the next page. Okay, next page is the same experiment, but now you highlight this part. Different color light filter, ABC. So you notice here, there's different light filter, ABC, and the distance is fixed. So now they fix this distance at 20 centimeters. So 20 centimeters is the distance being fixed. So now we measure the amount of oxygen collected. So they say that Mandy has an ecosphere. What's an ecosphere? If you watch this, right? This is an ecosphere. Okay, this part. It's actually something quite unique. It's a controlled environment. They seal the glass ball, right? And inside the glass ball, there are tiny organisms, the stream, and there's a green plant. So it's self-sustaining due to the process of water cycle and also respiration and photosynthesis. Yeah. So they say that as there's no air pump attached, Mandy decided to shine light. So again, you annotate this light source with a color filter. So which color filter, A, B, or C, is the most suitable to ensure the organism in the ecosphere continue to survive for the longest period of time? So that means you must provide an environment where the prawn can receive oxygen. At the same time, the green plants can receive carbon dioxide. So they mutually support one another. So you should select the color filter B because the amount of oxygen produced is the greatest. So because you need to explain, can you see? Explain your answer. So this part, you should say B or color filter B. This shows that when using filter B, the rate of photosynthesis is highest. Okay, regarding the food, I'll explain to you later. So let me explain this part first. So the examiner want to see you mention this, B. And why? Because the rate of photosynthesis is highest. And the plants produce the most amount of oxygen. Okay, now this is a tricky part. How they support one another. You must mention prawns use oxygen to respire. Okay, this is a keyword. And provide carbon dioxide for the plant to make food or for photosynthesis, this part. So the cycle repeats itself continuously. Okay, what are food? Because here, they did not mention what the prawn eats. Okay, perhaps we can assume that the prawn don't really eat a lot. Or maybe they eat the microorganism present inside. Yeah, so that's a good question. So usually such ecosphere, if it's not big enough, like a small like glass ball, maybe like at the most 40 centimeter in diameter, I don't think the animals can survive long enough. Yeah. Okay, let me see Kia answer she put there. Filter B. The height of gas collected was the highest. This shows that plant could photosynthesize the most using filtered class B and produce most oxygen for the organism in the ecosphere to survive longest. Yeah, also can. Your answer also acceptable. Okay, but can you improve by talking about, because the green plants also need carbon dioxide to make food. Yeah, so you must mention carbon dioxide is also used by the green plants for photosynthesis. Okay. Yeah, because without photosynthesis, without photosynthesis, the prawn cannot receive oxygen. Okay, thank you for sending. Very good. So this is actually quite a good questions. And this question is a testing of experimental design. So in PSLE, such questions, they are termed as, you can put down this, learn a new term, experimental design questions. That means students are expected to draw conclusions from the experiment. Okay, usually such questions in PSLE also quite high weightage, about 8% to up to 11%, including MCQ in a PSLE. Okay, experimental design questions, they appear in PSLE and prelim exam. Yeah, these are experimental design questions, which can amount to about 8 to 11%. And they are testing you about the process of photosynthesis and respiration, mainly photosynthesis in such case, in this example. Okay. So now I move on to the next part, M8. Okay, M8 here is the volume of air in Nadia's lungs. So she's doing an activity called dancing. Okay, so this part you annotate. That's mean at the 15-minute, 15-second, she started dancing. You can see the pattern of the volume of air in her lungs, right, increases. So what you can do, you take a ruler and pencil. You can see there's this increasing pattern. Okay, you draw at the peak that is increasing this way. And also from here, you can see there's a pattern. Okay, this pattern shows you that her lungs is taking in more air because it's volume of air. And 21% of air is oxygen. That means indirectly she's taking in more oxygen. Okay, why I put this 3 here is I help you to count the number of peaks. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this up and down. Okay, actually, if you count here, yeah, it can be 4. Yeah, maybe you change to 4. Okay, so this is 4. And then the next 15 seconds, you count this part, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is 5. So based on the graph, state how Nadia's breathing change when she dances. Okay, actually we can see 2 things. The first one is as she dances, right? She breathes faster. Okay, how her breathing is it Nadia's breathing increases? Okay. So for this one, based on the graph, state how. So it says Nadia breathe faster and deeper. Okay, why deeper? Because the peak. So actually there are 2 things. She breathe faster and deeper. Okay. In next section, Nadia's muscles this is a tricky one. Nadia's muscle cell produce carbon dioxide. So I want you to highlight this part. Okay, annotate. Produce carbon dioxide as she dances. So this process is called respiration. How is carbon dioxide removed from her body? So, and this is a 2-mark question. Okay, I put the answer below to minimize any interference with the line. So firstly, you must mention carbon dioxide from the muscle is transferred to the bloodstream and carried to the heart. Okay, this part. Carried to the heart. Maybe I use this color. From the bloodstream to the heart. Secondly, the heart pumps the blood containing the carbon dioxide to the lungs. So you must imagine heart pumps the blood, right? Containing the carbon dioxide to the lungs. And from the lungs, the carbon dioxide goes to the windpipe and is released from the nose. Okay, this part. Carbon dioxide goes to the windpipe. She respire and release from the nose. Yeah, correct. Actually, the nose and mouth is connected because sometimes you, doing vigorous activity, you also open your mouth, right? So actually you can say release from the nose and mouth, this part. Release from the nose and mouth. Let me squeeze it back in this part. Okay, release from the nose and mouth. Okay, you can screenshot here. Yeah, she breathe faster and deeper can. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, this part. Okay, I will pause for a while for any questions. Okay, let's continue with question number 9. This is also experimental design questions. So you can actually annotate by drawing the light ray from this. Because the coin, right, reflect light so that the person can see. Okay. Try to draw a straight line by using freehand. That's why not straight. Okay, if you can see through deeper depth, right? That is mean the water is clearer. So you can actually single out this pond Q is the most polluted because only can see through 5 centimeter of height. Okay, so you can actually annotate, you put here, maybe by the side. This is the most polluted. Okay, most polluted water for Q. And then the least polluted is R. Okay, just below it. R is least polluted. Okay, for R. So they say, at which pond would there be the least number of plants growing in it, living in the pond? So, of course, it's Q. Okay, then you must explain. There's 2 mark questions. The height H was the lowest, showing that the water was the most murky, or can say most polluted. This would allow plant growing at pond Q to receive least light. Okay, I put a half mark mean to indicate there's half mark, least light for slowest rate of photosynthesis. Yeah. So this one, the half mark, I can remove this part. Okay. To show you the marks allocated. Okay, so you answer by saying this. Okay, so this again is an experimental design question. Okay, next question. Okay, this one a bit tricky. I show you the annotation here because I want to show you that the butterfly and the caterpillar is considered one population, and the frog and tadpole is the second one. Okay. But because they say consumer, okay, so they say that Nissim recorded this, right? He concluded that there are 5 populations of consumer. Okay, consumer means they eat other organisms. So only producer are non-consumer. So they say, do you agree? Okay, usually such question is don't agree one. If agree one, then they won't expect you to give any reason. Okay, so you see there are 5, they got 5 population of consumer. So you must underline or highlight consumer. Because this word that trick many students. Okay, that's mean consumer, you cannot include plant. Because you see here, in this community, right, there are 2 producers, the water hyacinth and the water lily. So actually, you should say no. Why? Okay, then you explain. Butterfly and caterpillars form one population because they are the same species. Okay, this is the half mark. Frog and tadpole form one population, another half mark. Cat forms one population, so total 3. Okay, so there are 3 populations of consumer. Okay, not 5. So this is a very good questions for you to. It is catfish, not cat. Yeah, catfish. Yeah. Catfish is a type of fish. It's not a cat. Yeah.
You said cat.
Oh, I say cat. Catfish. Okay. I said cat. Okay, never mind. Okay, this one I finished first. Let you have some time to do before I go on to the next question. Okay, let me continue the next question, which is question number 10. So, okay, which is a root hair cell? Okay, root hair means that the root which don't have any chloroplast. So you must select the answer, which is actually cell C. Okay, cell C has cell wall, cell membrane, and no chloroplast because the root is part of the plant cell. So you must choose the one that has cell wall. So the reason number 1 is, okay, reason number 1, it has cell wall. Reason number 2, it does not have chloroplast. Okay. So these are the 2 reasons for this question. Okay. So you can screen share this, Inchi. Thank you. Okay, root hair. Root hair is actually, okay, do you know the root actually has tiny hair on it to increase the surface area to absorb water and minerals? Okay, now next question, M11. Okay, this is an interesting question on this food chain and food web. So there are 3 organisms here you can see. Okay, I'll dissect this question carefully, slowly, so they can appreciate this question. Okay, here they say they conduct experiment to study the food relationship between animal X, Y, and W. So another condition here you annotate, right? They say animal W feed on leaves only. Okay? Animal W feeds on leaves only, which is this one. So I use the same color coding, W, feeds on leaf only. So you can actually annotate here, this is a what? Herbivore. Okay? W is a herbivore. At the start, Sammy placed some animals, W and X, in a tank with some leaves. He counted the number of animals at the end of each week. So there are 5 weeks here. After week 2, he added, okay, you annotate this part. That means this is, we call an alien. After 2 weeks, this Y, you can put here is an alien. They added an alien inside. Why I call it alien? Because this organism does not belong to the environment. Okay, because it's added suddenly at week number 2. Okay, you can see something happen here. When the alien was being introduced into the environment at week number 2, right? So can you see it increase, right? Correct. But this increase caused another organism to decrease, which is X. And the pattern actually coincide because if one increase, the other decrease, right? This will show a predator-prey relationship. That's means when Y is being introduced, can you see the X population start to drop? So this indicates that X is being eaten by Y. Okay, so what is the food relationship between W and X? Okay, W is, they told you it leaves, right? Correct? Yeah. And X eat W. Okay, why X eat W? Another pattern you can see from here. Okay, because you see W drops, right? Because X increase. X is eating W. Okay, when they reach this point, the minimum point doesn't start to increase. Okay, why they start to increase? Because you see why? Because at week number 2, right, the population of X start to drop because eaten by Y. That's why X drop. So this relationship quite interesting. So when X drop, right, nobody eat W, that's why W will increase. So this is a very good question. So the relationship, there are many possible answers for this part. I share with you the various possible answer. Actually quite easy, all very easy. You can say any of this. Okay, any of these answers are acceptable. Okay, you can say animal X feed on. Okay. Any of this animal X feed on animal W, or animal W is the prey of animal X. Okay, prey means being eaten. Okay, being eaten. W eaten by X. Or you can say animal X is the predator of animal W. Okay. So any of this. Okay, the next one is quite interesting. the population of animal Y decreased, right? Towards the end of week 4, explain why. Isn't this part, end of week 4? So for this question, I want you to annotate this way. They are asking you to explain towards the end of week 4. That means this section. The population of Y, right? Decrease. That means, can you see this part? They ask you why this part dropped. Okay. Why this part dropped? And it's a 2-mark question. So this will be the answer, which I shared earlier. Okay, you mentioned this way. Okay, animal Y feeds on animal X. Okay, which I mentioned earlier. Animal Y feeds on animal X, causing the population of animal X to decrease after week 2, which is down here, right? Yeah, the one here is the indicator 1 mark. There is a lack of food for animal Y. Thus, the population of animal Y decreased. Because X decreased until becomes 0. So there's no food for animal Y to eat. That's why towards the end of week 4, the population of animal Y start to decrease. Okay, so this is a good question. Okay, the last part, there are 2 ways of answering. What is a food chain, right? So I've shown you the first method. The second method to answer this, you can also mention this way. Okay, a food chain shows the relationship or shows the food relationship between organisms in a community. So there are 2 ways of answering the last section. Okay, let me see this part. I try to do the screenshot myself for this question and send over. Okay. So I send over that. I also want to send over this part. Send 2 times. 2 different magnification. Okay, for you to take note. So this is quite a good question. It's actually a how many mark question? 4 mark. It's a 4-mark question. So this is definitely a P6 under food web. Okay, under food web. Okay, by the way, this topic was removed during the pandemic. It was first tested last year. So this year, I believe there'll be similar question on food web coming up. I hope this question will appear in the 2023 PSLE examinations, so we can get full marks for this one. So remember the annotation to put in, the alien, and also use color coding. It's good to have different highlighters if you take your examinations, because color coding actually helps you to prepare your verbal answer or written answers in a more structured manner. Just hold on. Resume record. Okay, we are ending the class soon. So as I repeat, this is a very good questions, which I think may appear in your prelim or in this year 2023 PSLE science. Okay, this is a very good electrical system, which I want you to appreciate the designer for this. So you highlight this is an electrical system. Okay, a system is made of 2 or more individual units. If you can see on the left-hand side, right, they can operate independently. So you can see this whole section here. They can operate independently. And the one on the right also, they can operate independently without depending the one on the left. So when these 2 independent, we call a circuit, right, they combine together, they form a system. And I like this system. And I appreciate the designer and also the illustrator to draw this so that students can appreciate. Perhaps they can be the future engineer of our nation. Okay, it says that this electrical system for fan and air conditioner is shown below. So this system actually prevents both the fan and the air conditioner from being turned on at the same time. And they say that the W is an iron bar inside a coil of wire. So when you see this thing, right, immediately you must think that this thing, it must register to you is an electromagnet when the electricity goes through. So if you close S2, right, you can see these two batteries, right, or power source will turn on the air conditioner. Of course, in real life, you cannot use a battery to turn on an air conditioner. This is just to show you that the air conditioner get the electrical supply from these two batteries in series. But in real life, it doesn't happen because air conditioner consumes a lot of energy and they need to use the main electric city from your socket, the socket. So when this is turned on, right, you put a tick here because closed circuit, but this will cause the W become an electromagnet. So you annotate this way. And what will it do? It will cause the electromagnet to attract this part towards the right. So when this happens, this will form a gap here. Okay. So this gap will cause it to have an open circuit, even if you close S1. Okay, even if S1 is closed, right, electricity cannot jump from P to Q. Therefore, even if you close S1, the fan will not be turned on. So that means this system is built in a way that if you turn on the aircon, you cannot turn on the fan. But you can turn on the fan without turning on the aircon. Okay? Yeah, you can turn on the fan without turning on the aircon. But once you turn on the air conditioner, the fan cannot be turned on. This is to save electricity. So this part, what will happen to pin Q when S2 was closed? So actually S2 was closed. You just say electric current will flow through the circuit and W will become an electromagnet and attract Q. This part, spacing, and attract Q. Okay, give a reason why the fan was turned on when S2 was closed, which I just explained earlier. There was an open circuit, so electric current cannot flow through as part Q is being attracted by electromagnet, forming a gap. Okay, this part. And then, okay, maybe I screenshot independently so you can see the whole thing clearer. Okay, this part. Send to everybody. And then this one, part C. Okay, part C is they ask you to replace another material. So if you replace Q with another material, right, then it can be attracted. Okay, as long as you name any of this aluminum, gold, but it must be electrical conductor, okay? Must be electrical conductor. So if you change this to a non-magnetic material, you can turn on both. Yeah, because this part, the electromagnet will not be working. Okay, so again, this is quite a good question. M13. Okay, M13, I go a bit faster because running out of time. Okay, if you pump out the air, right, 500 will be lesser air. Whole air is a metal, will have less mass. So you mentioned the beam will tilt downwards at B, or you can say the beam will tilt upwards at A, either way. Okay, this is a tricky one. I put it here, this is a tricky one. Okay, part B is a tricky one. What would happen to the volume of air in A after he had removed 200 cm3 of air? Okay, they ask you what happened to the volume. Okay, this is something quite interesting. Some student was quite puzzled. Hey, Mr. Yu, I removed 200 cm3 of air. How come will come magic become 500 again? Okay, because of this property of air. Air has no definite volume. It will occupy the volume of the container. So the volume of air remain the same. Okay, the volume of air remain the same. So how is that possible? Because you see, next year when you go secondary one, right, you will learn about the random movement of solid, air, and gas. So gas, the particles are spaced further apart. So if you remove 200 cm3, right, it's actually you create more space for the air molecules to move more freely. Okay, so that's the reason for this one. So this is considered quite tricky, this question. which I will screenshot. And I hope that this question come out in your exam. Maybe in some of the school prelim paper. And finally, this question is a light question. Very straightforward. You see the shadow. So I think this one I know to explain is quite straightforward. The properties of this, because property means whether it's translucent, opaque, or whatever. And then also the reason, state one property of light. So you can mention light travels in a straight line, or light can be blocked by an opaque object or translucent object. Okay, the last one is a tricky one. I'll put a star here. Because many students get scammed by this question. Because they say, if the torch is changed to one that gives out brighter light, that's mean greater light intensity, how will it affect the size of the shadow? This part. Highlight this part. The size of the shadow. Okay? So actually, the size is not affected by light intensity. Understand? So this part, don't be scammed. So you say that the shadow size or the size of the shadow, the shadow size is not affected by the light intensity amount, maybe actually light intensity by light intensity. Light intensity. So actually, I have gone through this section and sent to everyone. Okay, now it's 6:22, so I have gone through this part. So I wish you all the best in your prelim examination next week. Before that, let me save the thing and I send to everybody. Let me send this whole file so that you have the answer. Okay. Okay, so I've gone through 14 questions in today's discussion. And today is actually the 19th of August. Most of the students, I believe, have not taken your science prelim, right? I'm sure, right? Most of you have not taken, right? Yeah. So today I put the date, 19 August. Full solution. Okay, the file is 19 August, full solution, mock prelim, post NDP. Okay, now I send over. Make sure everyone receive before you log out of the class. So the file is called 19 August, full solution. Okay, you make sure you download the file before you exit the class. Okay, and then I think someone requests me to send to her parent independently. I think it's Dora, right? So I will do that. So once again, these students who are in my class. Okay, so I wish you all the best in your science prelim next week. Cheers.